Welcome, everyone. Happy holidays. I'm excited to bring you a show today that's going to sort of center around maybe some unique holiday gifts that you can give people that are impossible to buy for, or foodies. So today we have one of our local favorite chefs with us, Chef Saw, and Doug is with me. And this podcast is actually going to be airing on multiple different podcasts from all of JJ Flizanes, Empowering Minds Network, Spirit, Purpose, and Energy, Health and Wealth, to Taste the Ojai Experience and beyond. So welcome to the show, everybody. First, let me introduce Doug Sandler back to the microphone.
Hey, everybody. Happy to be here and looking forward to getting into this. One of my favorite restaurants to visit and one of my favorite foodie guys is here and going to be sharing. So excited to be able to have this conversation today. Thanks, JJ.
So for more information beyond today's show, you can go to Taste the Ojai Experience podcast. And we did an entire hour long, I believe, or close to an hour long podcast with the team over at the Duchess Ojai. And that's when we first really got introduced to Chef Saul. So Chef Saul, welcome to the show.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me here, guys.
You are welcome. Thank you for coming. I want to go back and explain a little bit about who you are and how you came to doing what you're doing and the Ojai, the Duchess at the Ojai, in our little town, which you guys started. You've been there over a year, so 2, 3. Has it almost been 3 years?
Yeah, it'll be 3 years in January 6th. Yeah.
When Doug
Uh,
and I moved to Ojai, and I had been coming to Ojai way before we moved to Ojai, but when we moved here 3.5 years ago, what was in the place of your restaurant was one of our very favorite restaurants, Azu, which I know only closed because the mom wanted to retire and the daughter wanted to do a brewery. So otherwise, that was one of our favorite restaurants, especially for me as a gluten-free person. They had most of their menu was gluten-free, so it was an easy yes. And of course, it was flavorful and it was affordable and it's close, and so we loved it. And when they closed and you guys opened, uh, you know, I was skeptical, not because I didn't know
We were
you.
scared. We were scared. We're like, what's going to go in that place that can be anywhere near what Azu was? And man, oh man, we were more excited than ever after the first couple of times that we had been to the restaurant.
oh, thank you.
Yeah, so I'd never had Burmese before. So let's back up to your story. So where you're from, let's talk about where you're from and then when you came here.
Yeah, of course. Um, I'm originally from Burma, Rangoon, capital city, born and raised my whole life with the growing up with my grandma. And I came to the States 2007. It's about coming to 17 years now. Wow. And yeah, since then, since I came to States, and I always wanted, I used to be in the band for years, play music, you know, and I'm still wanting to learn, study music and want to be in the band. I was 21 years old, barely turned 21, but so I still want to do that. So I didn't really know much. I didn't really know a lot of people here, and didn't have money either, and wasn't really working, and I didn't know what I wanted to do. I just wanna um, I went to college, Mount and San Antonio. So I started taking all this music class, meeting people, and I went to a couple of auditions in Pomona, Claremont. That I used to live in Upland, that area. So okay, basically got into this band in the garage, and so they liked me, and I really liked them. And then so okay, we're like, okay, we're gonna do this rock band, whatever that time. Then I needed a lot of like instruments, and so it's required, it came to a lot of requirements. And okay, you need this, you need to buy this, you need to buy. I have no money, and that's just like, okay, that's just not for me anymore. I started to realize. So yeah, and then I worked part-time, like two different part-time, the Subway sandwich shop as a student, and I flipped burgers. I just took any kinds of jobs that I could see. I just, I had to work really poor. And yeah, so I worked a lot of like different little tiny restaurant. Would you call it a restaurant? It's just, like fast food.
Fast food, yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Subway is not a restaurant. It is a fast
Right,
food.
right,
Yeah.
right, right. Fast food joints, and and actually I was the most hardworking person even in that sandwich shop. Just like all these holidays, people request off holidays, and I chose to work holidays because I'm not a lot of I didn't really have friends or family. So anyway, from there too, so one of my friend who was attend as a best man at my wedding, and one time I was like really freaking out my life, my career. I don't know what I'm doing. I really don't know. I can be in the band. I can do music. I just don't know what's going on. And so he was the one like, you good with your hands and you're an artist and you paint your music and when you cook, it's good food and then you have I don't know. I can't recall what he really said, but it got to me like, you know what? I'm gonna apply for a real kitchen job. Of course, no one hired me, and that time, and there's no Instagram or anything like that. Like door to door, knock the doors, and hey, I wanted to work this and that, and then so I decided to like go to culinary school, and and then I got a job in LA. That time it was like fine dining restaurant at Patina Group, Cafe Pino. So Chef Sydney had to hire me, and since then, just like working through my culinary and with all these different chefs, meeting like different incredible chefs, and I always wanted. And then I knew what I wanted. It. I'm like, okay, this is it. This is it. And then you look back and you're growing up with my grandma and in the house, and I was always in the kitchen with her all the time. I touch these like, although I never got to like really cook with her, but I remember a lot of things. So even though that was like in a French restaurant, fine dining restaurant, and when we started doing that, I was just like 20 to 23 years old kid in the kitchen at that time. The when the staff meal comes, like I was the one like volunteer. Hey, chef, can I make family meal? Can I make family meal? So like, do you even have time? You still got to set up your station. You got to do this. You got to do that. You're like, I'll make time. I want to feed you guys. So I started cooking with whatever they have in their like dry storage and stuff. And I would just like cooking a little pot. And I start seeing them. It makes me happy. And they all like, they enjoy like lunch, dinner, doesn't matter. And I was the one like always wanted to cook. And same thing, like when I was working for Chef Thomas Keller in Bouchon, same thing. And always I talk to my sous chef, hey, can I cook this? Can I cook that? And lead to that, I was always cooking curry and, I'm making my own spices, making my own curry. And even like, I didn't care if that was a French restaurant or not. Like, well, I'm cooking your food, but now you're going to have to eat my food in your 30 minutes break. Kind of arrogant way, but I had to do it. You know what I mean? Um, yeah, I don't know if explain.
No, and I actually, what's really funny is that when I moved to California from New York, I worked at Cafe Pinot also. I
Oh, no
I
way.
I was in the restaurant industry in New York at so the Be Our Guest group. I don't know if you know any anyway. Steve, oh God. Anyway, it's been so long, but I was working in several of the Manhattan restaurants, and I was managing one, and I was like overseeing some of the way that the hostess stand worked. I kind of worked my way up because I didn't care. Like I love food and I loved being in the service industry, but that wasn't my full-time job. It was never going to be my thing. And then when I moved to California without wanting to do anything, I applied at Cafe Pinot, and I literally just want to be a server because I was acting. I was acting and singing and dancing. And I didn't want to work in a restaurant full time, but when I got there, the woman looked at my application and she said, "We don't need managers." And I literally was like, I'm not applying to be a manager. Like I'm applying to be just a server. And she was like, oh, okay. And then I got the job because she was very threatened by like, well, we don't need any managers. We have enough managers. And I was like, okay, I don't want to be a manager. But I've spent time both. And then I worked at the Bel Air. I was in
Okay.
service at the Bel Air Hotel. And then eventually I could move away from food service. Now, of course, I'm doing wine, which is not the same, but I love food as a Greek and an Italian person who cooks and has, family meals. And I understand wanting to share what you love and your food with people who are eating things that you enjoy, but they're not your culture. And to be able to share that with them is great. So now you know what you want to do, and you're in LA and you're working at these restaurants. At what point? And I think this is the Duchess owned by a bigger company.
Yeah, Duchess owned by Rustic Canyon Group. Rustic Canyon Group. They about 8 or 9 different restaurants, I think, including us. So yeah, we all here and then now have two partners with Kelsey, Chef Kelsey, pastry chef, and Zoe, still my partner. So we're a little far away from city, and we do our own thing up here.
So are all the rest of the restaurants in LA?
Yes.
Can you like, name some of the restaurants?
Yeah. Rustic Canyon. There's Mile and Olives, Huckleberry, and Birdie G's. Tallulah's closed, and Astor's Casilla.
I've never been to any of those.
Yeah.
Where are they in LA? Just curious, out of anyone who's
In
listening
Santa
to this.
Monica area. Everyone, Santa Monica, Wilshire. Yeah.
Okay. And did you work in one of these restaurants before? So how did we get to you now or the chef at the
Right.
Duchess? I wonder.
Yeah. So I was more like an R&D chef, sous chef in West Hollywood restaurant called Isabel. So it's very celebrities and all like driven, and it's in Hollywood, Hollywood. So I was there. Um, then and I heard and I met this chef in Mario, and I heard that he is opening a Tallulah's Mexican restaurant in Santa Monica with Chef Jeremy Fox. With Chef Jeremy Fox, and I thought he like, okay, so like, do you want to like help me open this restaurant? I'm like, I don't know anything about Mexican food. I love Mexican food, and my stepdad's Mexican. I've seen it enough, like growing up in America. Uh, well, yeah, I'll take it. I'm like, I'll do it. And because I want to work for Chef Jeremy Fox. I want to learn from him. I want to get to know him. And that these are the thing. Like, and I always I need all these connections, any connections that I could get. And so yeah, we opened Tallulah's restaurant in 2017. That's why I met this incredible people like Josh Loeb, um, a founder of Rustic Canyon Group, and Zoe, who's my partner now. So that's how it all started. And this, so I was just like under this Chef Mario, then he parted away on Tallulah's, and then Chef Jeremy Fox, like, do you want to be executive chef of this restaurant? And I was like, no, chef, no. So they were like, whoa, what do you mean? I'm like, no, it doesn't mean like I'm leaving, and I need to learn a lot. I want to like work under your wings and like move me up. So I became a chef de cuisine of Jeremy Fox, which is super awesome. I learned so much about like business and food wise and everything, all this knowledge. And all these years, I was just like working for all these different other chefs, but like never been like side by side like that. Then, yeah, so and a couple of years later, I he promoted me as an executive chef. So even at Tallulah's restaurant, it was like one of those tricky part that I had to create something that people wanted to work there. That means, like not trying to be like again, so people just like it's a Mexican food, Mexican restaurant. So why do I want to like make tacos? Why do I want to make burrito? But that was not that kind of restaurant. So I started like digging into back in 2018, at the end of 18. So I met my a French chef in San Diego. So they were making their own masa, like masa, fresh masa, like nixtamalizing and all this. There's a lot of like scientists behind it. And then I fell in love with it. I'm like, oh my God, why are we doing this? Why are we buying these masa from other people? Why can't we do it? So basically, I was just so into that program. And then I started like developing so many things. And then going back and forth to San Diego, calling people, doing stuff. And I had to tell Chef Jeremy, chef, like buy me a um, masa machine, so Molito, and I want to like start like um, nixtamalizing corn, and they're like, "Are you sure?" So that's a lot of work. Yeah, totally, I get it. So and since then, I just literally like sleep in the restaurants for a few days a week like that because you gotta soak the corn. And then you want, it's like, you got to soak the corn that I want to see. And so 8 hours or 7 hours of sleep, I don't want to miss out. So I want to like just get up there, just take a look at it. How does it work? How do I clean it today? Or do I wash it longer? Do I not wash it at all? Like there were so many things. Then I have to grind them. After I grind them, I have to press them. After pressing them, I have to cook them. Same thing, And so even like these tamales and stuff like that, and I started making tamales, not just the tamales, just tamale stuff from actual corn to making tamales. And I learned on the tamales trick from my dishwasher's wife because when I'm gonna go to he lives in Venice. I'm like, hey, let me give you a ride. So after that, and then you guys got to teach me how to make tamales. So I was giving him a ride for like 2 months. Every time in the back, they were making tamales. I would just like get into it, get dirty, and it just like it's so fun. And I would just like come back to work before I put tamales on the menu, I have to put out like for like 6 months, the whole entire staff had to eat tamales until they're like, Chef, no more, no more tamales, no more. Yeah, anyway. So from there to then like again, like my heritage and my heart is like actually what I really want to do is like this Indian and Burmese food. That's in the end, whatever I do, what kind of food that I cook, and I end up because I come home, I make a pot of beef masala, let's say, potato samosa. That's fill me up. I love eating that. That's the only one of my memory of my grandma was always like cook for me the whole my entire life. Um, so I was just like, you know what? I want to do a pop-up. Tallulah's is like 2 stories, a big upstairs. Upstairs like really huge. I think a 2 to 300 square feet private dining room. So like the founders, Josh Loeb and Chef Jeremy Fox is like, why don't you why don't you do the pop-up upstairs and the food that you really like to cook? And then we will sell the ticket. So all right. So I invited my mom. My mom came and cooked. My mom's in the kitchen with me, with other my sous chefs and everybody. And then it was like nerve-breaking. But we sell the tickets, we put it out, we sold out tickets in 45 minutes. And then we even have to like put all the tables more. And then so it's supposed to be like 20 tickets, and then we sold about like almost 40 or something. It's double up, literally in 45 minutes.
What I love about the story that you're sharing, Saul, is the idea of it sounds like early on, even in your early 20s and mid 20s, there was no ego in the I need to become the executive chef. And I want to go back to a comment that you made when you were offered the promotion to the next level, and you said, no, no, I want to stay here and learn from you. And it wasn't, I want to learn from you about how to make better Burmese food. It was, I want to learn about the craft and the art of becoming an executive chef or whatever that next level was. And there sometimes you kind of have to check your ego at the door, and that's a hard thing a lot of times. And I'm sure you know this from being in the industry. It's a hard thing for a chef to do that because a chef runs that kitchen. They are all ego oftentimes. And in your case, I love the fact that you kind of had to take a step back and say, I'm not ready for that yet. I want to learn from you. And then all of a sudden, opportunity presents itself with this pop up where you actually get to do what you felt like was most natural to you, which was make your native food, which is terrific.
Right. Yeah, I was really grateful, and I still not forget in that time and that they um, they're like, okay, this is what you can do. Like, why don't we just try it? And yeah, and again, like it's very important for all those younger chefs out there, and it's easy to jump in to what you being offered. You just take the job, and then once you can do it, it's just like it just you just stab your own back. You know what I mean? It's not
Right. Well, you had the wherewithal to pause for a second and say, hey, I could take this promotion, which probably came with more money, but more
right.
responsibility as well. But you wanted to learn the trade even more so. And again, in an industry that is so commonplace for people to jump from position to position, company to company, restaurant to restaurant. You stayed in the game and you dropped back for a moment to learn more about what you wanted to do as your next step.
Yeah, yeah.
So you have the
That
pop-up. It's 40 some people. And then of course I'm sure they were all, what did you serve? I'm just curious. Do you
yeah.
remember?
We got yeah, oh yeah. Um, my mom made this cabbage and mint chicken salad. I used to have it at the Duchess with the kale and chicken salad stuff. So we did that. We did the potato samosa. We did mohinga, which is on the menu at Duchess right now. We did biryani, vegetarian biryani and chicken biryani, and the shrimp curry and a beef masala. So we even like serve everything in the tiffin. It's just like basically the same. It's kind of like a supper club, you know, like when you start doing kind of like that, it's easy and it's so fun than reservation wise doing stuff like that. So you'll be able to like serve how you want to like serve that. It was like incredible thing. And so yeah, that pop up, then like some people were like, whoa, even Chef Jeremy himself is like, oh shit, this is actually good. This food is good.
This is actually good. What did he think? He was that you could cook one thing in one way and that you'd be crappy on the other end. I think that's funny.
Yeah, how come we don't know about this food? How come we don't know about I was busy cooking Mexican food, you know, running the restaurant. But anyway, so so from there too, it's and my heart is into it so much. And the restaurant, we kind of want to like change the restaurant into a different what would you say? Different style, and how do we do like a fusion style? And it's LA. There's always like fusion restaurants everywhere. It works. A lot of them it works. And so why not? So to me, it's just like these spices, these tomatoes, salsas, and chutneys, and all are very similar to me. A lot of things, you know. So why don't we like combine these spices together, dry spices, fresh spices, and then we can come up something with it. And then so I make this potato flautas with samosa fillings. Oh my God. And the empanadas with samosa filling. It's like samosa empanadas, samosa flautas, and beef masala, shredded beef masala with tortilla tacos. And and then so all this stuff has started changing and we trying into that going into that phase. Then boom, what the restaurant was like the most profitable time ever. People just start showing up, coming to the restaurant just filled up. We have like started trying to me and my friend Max, um, he was a GM, a general manager at that time. Him and I would just like side by side work together and okay, we gotta hire this. Then that was right before pandemic, and then boom, pandemic hit. Obviously, we go back to rolling burritos and tacos and that time of the year. But yeah, and then after that, I worked through pandemic, so never had break during pandemic. It was I would see a lot of people would just like really had a good time in the during pandemic time, and not me, not us. We're just like struggling with the restaurants and like just trying to survive. But again, um, so again, another thing. So I think I burned out. Not I think I really was burned out. And my wife and I was in the Santa Monica Canyon. I walking the dog, and I told her I was like with another dog in the back of my head, I'm leaving. I'm leaving. I gotta go. And then she was like, what are you saying? What are you saying? You breaking up? No, no. I have to leave the restaurant. I just have to leave the industry. I don't know. I'm so confused. I'm lost. Then that was it. And then next day I put notice. I put 3 months notice, and just like I try to do whatever I could for that restaurant, and I just took off. That's it. I didn't do anything for like 4 or 5 months. Then I was in depression mood, and I was very depressed, and really just like I'm always in work, constantly working, work, that kind of person. Like after 4 months not working, I'm like, I don't know. And then my wife, Brittany, she's like, all right, this is what we're gonna do. Um, we're gonna we're gonna do the chili paste. We're gonna do this masala paste. We're gonna do all of this out of the house, and I'll help you promote and put it on the internet. You do all that. Okay. So then that's where Saul's Burmese Kitchen was born. Then and outside of the place, and so I started making the gram masala powder and chili paste that you probably see at the Duchess chili paste, and we're just selling outside out of the oh my God, the whole entire state, and everybody just started buying it. I was just like literally in the kitchen constantly all the time, you know. But again, like if you think about that time, all these spices are like the other day we talked about these spices are now like really I didn't know where these spices come from, but I just toasted, mixed up, doing that. Wasn't really proud that what I'm doing right now, but at the same time, okay, this is my recipes, and then this is a chili paste, and we did pretty good.
That's amazing. I'm curious about your marketing. Like, was it just people that knew you from the restaurant industry
Right,
in
all
LA?
the chefs, and not just like the people from Texas, Chicago, New York, Oklahoma, San Francisco, San Diego, everywhere. We just had to like start shipping, and then people started like repeating customers again, and then just start going out there, you know. But I don't think ever hits a lot of restaurants, retail shops, and anything like that, you know.
So
Um,
when did you take it out of the kitchen, your kitchen at your house, and move it into, is there a commercial place that you create this? Is this still homegrown business? Tell me, I mean,
it
again,
was homegrown, yeah,
and,
outside of like
and
in
has always been. Is there any place where you go to do this, or do you still do this, in small batches in your home?
No, I don't do that anymore. So basically, now all the chili paste obviously produced from the Duchess kitchen, right? And but not this potted cherry.
Yeah, which we're going to talk about. And I'm excited to share with everybody what's coming for them. So let's go back to, so now you're having this business out of your kitchen and you're shipping all over the place for the stuff. And then at what point did this invitation, or did you go after them, or did they ask you to come and do the Duchess?
Um, so you're talking about before the Duchess, right?
Yeah,
Time?
well, the timeline, I'm trying to get us to the Duchess after, like, how long you're doing this business after COVID at home and you're shipping out, and then how do we get to the Duchess?
Oh yeah. Yeah, so that I think that was 2021, 22. And so we're like just shipping out places to places, and I was a private chef at that time. Working for this really incredible family who's my investor now. That just it's funny. So my wife and I and our dogs and we just wanted to go to the Santa Barbara camping trip. Yeah, we took the camping trip to Santa Barbara, and then we know there's Josh and Zoe. Josh and Zoe, who's our partner now, they live in Ojai. So we're like gonna Ojai and Santa Barbara could be like pretty close. We don't know what Ojai is, and we're like, okay, let's stop there. And then I want to like that they like because they love my chili, and so like, well, we'll drop off the chili paste and masala and for them. So sure enough, that day they were like sitting down. They already met Kelsey in the morning. And they were just planning, okay, there's the one restaurant open, available space, Azu. It's be Azu space available open. And so we're gonna do the bakery but we don't know what we're gonna do at nighttime yet. So Zoe, it's like, all right, what we're gonna do Burmese restaurant at nighttime, Burmese restaurant at night, bakery in the morning. It's bizarre, it's crazy, sounds crazy, but it works.
It does. It does work.
So that's why I'm like, okay, I don't understand how, but yeah, we'll do it. Let's do it. I'm like, I was like ready to get back into it. But if that was like an Italian or like French restaurant, I would be like, no, I'm not gonna do it. But let's do it. Let's do your food. We had your food. You always wanted to do this. Are you down? I'm like, yeah. So it's not like we all partnered up and we teamed up. And yeah, the rest is history.
Okay, so I do have to tell a little story about the, and I know that we talked about this in the Taste Ojai experience when we interviewed the first time. There's a Burmese appetizer on the menu
Mm.
that is a chickpea tofu. When you're talking about, that's what made me think of when you're talking about doing the corn and the
Right.
masa, and sort of when you went from having the fritters, and then we talked about this on the
Mhm.
show, and then you changed the name to tofu because you were trying to be really like, okay, but the process is tofu, and you were very, you want to make sure that people understood because it's a very simple recipe. There's only what, three ingredients: water, salt, and chickpeas. So there's only three things, and it's the process of making tofu. But then when you change it from fritters to tofu, I know people thought it was soy, which it wasn't,
Mm-hmm.
and so then you changed it back to fritters, but it was, and I understood the wanting to be true to the art, to the, to be accurate about what it is that you're actually doing. But to the average person, they think tofu is
You
soy.
gotta know your market. Know your
Right. They think
market.
it's soy. I mean,
Right.
I've had tofu made fresh. I mean, obviously it's all like in a restaurant and it's been wonderful, but I knew that yours wasn't soy. And so anyway, so that's just an ode to your integrity of wanting to be accurate in the delivery of the information about the products and the foods and what you're making, like we talked about the other day. So the Duchess is always busy. I know here in Ojai, we have sort of like half of the town has been here for a long time and they've weathered the storms, if you will, of all the changes in Ojai that have happened, and a lot of them begrudgingly. And then they have the other half of Ojai, which are like us, people that have moved in the last 3 to 5 years, who want more restaurants, who want more things to do, who like the small town feel, but we want a little bit more activity. And so, they're looking at LA people and thinking, oh, it's LA prices, and that's not what Ojai. Anyway, but you're constantly busy. There is a line out the door every day for the bakery in the morning, and most of your reservations, I know. I think it was last year you got me in for New Year's. I freaked out thinking I was too late because we'd spent 2 New Years with you, and I'm like, oh my God, I missed it. It's already booked. And you're like, no, we haven't opened it up yet. You
Haven't
put me
opened
on.
it.
Right. And so I got my first reservation probably. So I appreciate that. And we love your food. And I was surprised because I love Indian food, but I wasn't sure what the difference was. And so I can definitely see the differences. And I think it was maybe last week you announced, and maybe I missed it if you announced it before that, that you have a product. It's your
Right.
spice blend. And I'll show it here, which Saul has it too. And and I was so, and you probably thought, what is she talking about when I said I want to try it? I was so fast in seeing you had a product. I don't know why I assumed it was chai. In my mind, you made like a chai. So I was like, oh, let's go have it. I think I'm gonna have chai. I kept telling Doug, I'm not gonna sleep tomorrow or tonight because we're gonna have caffeine. And then then I'm like, oh, it's a masala blend. It's not a chai. It's not a drink. It's a spice blend. So let's talk about that, and then I'm gonna share with you what we did with it. I've already used it 3 or 4 times since we saw you.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm very disciplined when it comes to trying things in the kitchen. Not to mention we had all the sort of right ingredients sort of ready to go. And I love Indian inspired and burnt. I love your food and the spices and the blends. And actually, let's educate people for a second. So for those of you that don't know, which is probably a lot of you, curry is not a spice. When you go to the store and you see curry powder, every different curry powder you would buy will be different. It'll be a different amount of different spices. They may have different spices in them altogether, but curry in itself is not. So no matter where you go, someone's curry, and even day to day, the curries might change. Correct, Saul?
Right.
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 I had a client who owned Champion, the ovens, the stovetops, so anyway, and he and his wife, they're both Indian. And when I was working with him, his wife and I did a trade. She said, I'd love to work with you. And I said, well, and she wrote a cookbook, an Indian cookbook. So she taught me how to make a curry from scratch, from, everything from taking and grinding when she's making hers, the onion and the garlic, like pulverizing it and then using the ghee and really making it into a paste before adding. And then anyway, so went through the whole like how to make a fresh curry, and then using and adding your own spices. And here are the different kinds of spices you can use. Of course, turmeric is one of them, and all the different spices that are in there. So when I saw yours, and so this is a Burmese masala, but masala is not considered a curry though, is it? Is
No.
masala a kind of curry?
Yeah, masala. Masala. It's the spice blend, and then you make the curry, the dish.
from the spice blend.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah. So anyway, so tell us the origin of this product and what inspired you to make it. And of course, yes, it's available, which is one of the reasons why we're doing the show right now, is because if you have people that are foodies that like to cook, and this is a unique thing to get them, because give me, oh my God, I love getting stuff like this. I'm like, oh, let me get in the kitchen and use it and see how it comes out. So tell us about the origin of this product.
Yeah. So this masala, like we talked, so I've done it outside of my apartment in Santa Monica a few years ago before the Duchess. And then even though when we opened Duchess, so I decided to make, we have to make, we don't buy these powder ready to go powder. We want to blend it ourselves together. So that the first year, we were just getting all these spices from big warehouse, the warehouse, and we blend it. It's still like after you blend it, still fresh, and that's where it goes. All these powder goes into the every dishes. So it's very important that you don't just buy, although that these spices been there in the warehouse, who knows how long already, right? You just can't tell. Import from where? We don't know. So, but even the blending it together yourself and it's still fresh and makes it really different in the food. And you can tell by layers. Then and I met this Pottery. They came up here to Ojai from LA, this couple. Um, very, very, very sweet, passionate. They know what they're doing. They source all these ingredients straight from India, you know. So some of the spices, like it takes a while because, and only when we buy, okay, let's just say I would like 5 pounds of cardamoms, or we don't have an inventory, but we gotta like, they have to order all straight from India. That will take in a few weeks, right? I'm okay. We'll wait. We'll wait for that because it's the right ingredients, the right spices. You will see, like, even one cardamom pop. You can even cook something in the one cardamom pop. That pops that the cardamom pop, the seeds and the oil inside, and then it will break some of the sauces. That's how it's fresh. It's so awesome. So anyway, so we've been whole just team, and we've been working with this spice company, Potter Cherry, for like over a year. Then I always buying the products and I see them and I talking to them, and one day I was just like, hey, why don't we make this like spice mix, blend mix, try some together, and then but I just don't really have time now, so to do this anywhere, even though from the Duchess restaurant too, like like it's so much going on. So they're like, okay, but I would like to I still want their spices, but it's important to like source where we getting everything's from. So it's just like nothing's fresher than this. And even though like now, like all these spices, like um, some for the retails and wholesales, everything, it's not like ready to go crazy amount that we don't make pounds of it at all. We only make when they order. It might take in a week or so, but like you order like 20 tins or 40 tins for your retail shelf, and then they will make that and are ready you buy in a week or two. So that's how it is. It's just very different. And so now like a lot of restaurants and the chefs, so we're very driven and to fresh ingredients, seasonality, all this food. Now this is the persimmon times. It's all persimmon all over it. It's tomatoes time or tomatoes all over it. Squash. Like sometimes it's just like to me, I don't know. Just okay, do I have to do the persimmon again this year? Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, coming from someone who misses my Doug chopped my tree last year, so I didn't get any fruit, but I do have some frozen persimmon in the. It's the one time. It's the one time of year that we enjoy these. Do you have to do them? No, but some of us really enjoy. I mean, I made so many different things. I mean, I had a tree. I had like hundreds of persimmons, so I made all kinds of things. I made savory things. I made sweet things. I baked things. I made custards. I made so many things. Drinks.
Yeah, I love persimmon though. Now, what I mean is like what I'm saying, but a lot of people tend to forget to use fresh spices. Fresh spices. These are like, especially Duchess, and we're main forward to like spices are very important for us, or all of our food. So. we can just satisfy with whatever we could get. So like we source this and then we work around with it with them. And again, nowadays nothing's really cheap. It's like even these spices like sourcing all the way straight from India and all that's like it's they're not cheap, but you just gotta work around with it. You just have to that this is our job. This is our job as a chef to how we price it out, how we use this thing, still supporting either locals, sustainable, everything that's like the most important thing for us.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, so we got back after seeing you and talking about this, and I had already sort of thawed some organic chicken tenders to make for the cat. So I made Winter his group of chicken tenders, but then I took some out and I just took a little bit of butter and I pan fried it with some of your spice. I want to read what's in this. So there's coriander, cumin, cardamom, black pepper, fennel, mustard seed, cloves, red chili peppers, turmeric, and black cardamom. Now, even though I just read that there's red chili peppers in here, this is not a lot of heat in this, which I like that you're selling that, right? It's because then someone can choose their level of heat for themselves, because that's the one thing. I did not add anything except salt to the
mhm,
dishes that I made with your spices because I wanted to see what it was like just the way that you have it. And then
mhm.
next time I'll probably add a little bit more heat because Doug and I like things a little bit spicy. Although it was wonderful the way it was. So I made that chicken first, and it was just so it was pretty just the spices and the salt and the butter with the chicken. And then I added a little bit of, and even though we try to be mostly dairy free in this house too, I added a little heavy cream because I had some. So it kind of made a little bit more of a sauce, which then he actually liked that better. And then I made a lamb tikka masala.
Oh,
So I
wow.
had a leg of lamb and I did it in the crock pot, sort of slow roasted it. And on the side, I made, so I use this time because again, when I see masala, to me, I love tikka masalas, but I don't get them when I go out because they're mostly made with cream and I don't want them to be dairy. I want them to be made with coconut milk. So I took a can of coconut cream and a can of tomato paste and I combined that and I put probably, I would say at least teaspoons at least 5 or 6 teaspoons of this of your Burmese masala in there. Again, with some salt. That's the only other thing that I added. And then put and anyway, I want to play with more. Like I want to add garlic and onion and salt and some heat. But by itself, it was fabulous. I mean, Doug, you want to say anything about the spices?
Yeah, yeah, super good. It's like restaurant. When JJ gave it to me, I'm like, I was sitting at my desk and I think I was working, and she first brought the first round, which was the one with just the spice, and then I think you brought a second round that was with the coconut milk and heavy cream or something like that. And I'm like, oh my gosh, whatever the second one it had a little bit more body to it, and it tasted so good, so good.
Nice.
And then the lamb.
Yeah, the lamb was great. We had that a couple of nights. The second night, it was actually even a little bit better because it had actually, it had aged nicely in the crock pot overnight. So good. And I think I think it lasted a couple of meals, but I think we skipped the night. Didn't we? We went, had it, we skipped the
Yeah,
night, and then we had it again.
I'm the fan. Like I probably eat like you saw. Like I consider myself a foodie. So if I like something and I've made it, it's really flavorful and really good. I'm eating it. Just eating that. Doug gets bored quickly with whatever he's eating. Even if he loves it, he'll only have a small amount. Then he'll move on to something else. So I had like two helpings the first night, and then I said, okay, there's leftovers, but you're not going to get them because they're mine. I get very like I hide food sometimes because people eat stuff like because I have a specific diet. So don't eat what I'm my food. Eat your food.
Because people eat stuff. I'm the only one that lives here with her because
Well,
Doug
I
eats
know.
my stuff.
Well, when Adam's here, or like, they're like, did you hide those cookies? I'm like, yeah, damn straight I hid those cookies because you eat gluten. So go eat your damn gluten cookies and leave my other
There you
cookies alone.
go.
But so we had it again the other night. But and it was wonderful, and I'm looking forward to using it again, and then sort of playing with adding some garlic and some onions and some more heat to it because I do like a little bit of heat. And I have to tell you, I'm
Mm.
bummed every time we go out because I'll get the tikka masala, but it's always cream and I want it to be coconut cream. So I use a real thick, heavy organic coconut cream, which by the way, let me put in a little request for when it comes back around. I know you took it off the menu because you couldn't get it, but I will come. I promise you every week or more than once a week to get the coconut milk that you make. I make it. Chef William has an amazing probiotic coconut milk, but the Duchess is the only place that I love having coffee without any sugar when you guys used to make the coconut milk from scratch. Your coconut milk was the bomb, and I'm sad that you don't make it
You did
anymore.
at the beginning, right?
You don't make it because you're like, oh, it's we're out. I can't get the coconut. Well, the minute you can get the coconut back, I promise I will come over and I will bring everyone over and have coffee dates at the Duchess just to get the coconut milk back. So, so the reason why I wanted to do this show now, I don't know if anybody's noticed who's here on the video. We did do a video in case you didn't know that. Me and my new Christmas earrings since it's the holiday season. So this is a great stocking stuffer as well as a great thing to try for your holiday parties. And I added it to chicken soup. Booyah. Okay, sorry, I did another thing. So I had the chicken and then I made chicken. I always make bone broth chicken soup. And I have been putting in a little secret ingredient, cumin, for a little while, just a little touch because it sort of rounds out like a different flavor of chicken, regular chicken soup. And I just use garlic and onions, carrots, celery, bone broth, and chicken, salt and pepper. That's it. So I put the little cumin in. So this time I said to Doug, "Would you mind if I put this in?" And so my chicken soup had this in it. So that's four things I tried since we saw you last week, and it made the chicken soup amazing. So if you're bored, people, with your chicken soup, try adding this spice blend to it. It was awesome, off the hook. So where can people buy it?
Right now we have it at Duchess retail shelf right now. Plenty of them.
Okay, well,
Got
this
in yesterday.
podcast goes all over the world. So let's go with where people all over the world can get this. They're gonna have to
And
order it from you.
right now, Duchess, and we'll have in Santa Monica, Huckleberry, Huckleberry in Santa Monica, and I think there's a Justa in Venice. And then
Okay.
we're yeah, so I think I want to go probably beginning of December, West Ridge, Rainbow Bridge in town. So
What about
JJ,
online?
you're gonna have to wholesale a bunch from Chef Saul so that we can
I know, right? Do
package
you
it
want
and
me to
sell it
sell it? Do you want me to be a
ourselves.
wholesaler, Saw, and I'll sell it? Because so how do we get it for people who live all over the country?
yeah, so I mean like they can go on my Instagram,
Okay, and your Instagram is Saw.
Sasa.
Is that it? Just Saw, right?
Yeah.
SAW.
Yeah, so they can go on my Instagram and just DM me, and then so however they want, however amount they want, and then we can just I work with them, you know, as well. So they will work on it, they will ship it out.
Okay. Is there going to be any other place that sort of that doesn't require your time? So when you're so busy and someone wants to buy something, like will the Duchess ship it out, or will the
Yeah,
Pondicherry?
Duchess definitely will ship it out. Yes, and
Great,
we'll have it on the Duchess website retail session as well on the
great.
web. Yeah.
And that's the duchessohai.com.
Yeah.
Okay. Any last words, Doug Sandler, about this amazing product and Chef Saw? And anyone that's been here in one of my groups, one of my deep dive groups, or my mastermind, you've eaten at the Duchess. They're great for every diet. So whether you're vegan or gluten free or whatever, like they have something for everybody. So
Yeah, keep bringing the stuff that you bring in, Saul. It's so great to go in there, see you cooking in the kitchen and working with the team. And I love the fact that things could be completely still in Ojai, and I run by the Duchess, and it's like busy, busy, busy. You deserve success. You're a nice guy.
your
You
food's
work
great.
hard, and you're very talented, and all of those reasons. You have an amazing customer experience when you walk into the Duchess over at in Ojai, and anybody that's in town needs to check it out. But certainly, if you want a little piece of Saul when you're not in Ojai, get this spice because it will bring you right back to the Duchess as well.
Thank you.
You're
Appreciate
welcome. And congratulations on all your success on this. We're clients for life because I love spicy food, and this isn't spicy. So let me say that. So when you get this spice blend, it isn't. There's not a lot of heat to it at all. So just know that it's just flavorful, right? And I think that's one of the best things about your food and Burmese food and Indian like food in general is how many it's like so rich with flavors. And people a lot of times people they eat boring things. so
And
so
maybe Saul will take your advice, JJ, when we were tasting this for the first time, or at least chatting with Saul about the spice. Maybe he'll include some recipes in the stuff that he's going to send out to you as well, or at least have some online recipes. Because I'll tell you, this spice without being put to use is not good. You have to put it to use in order to make it come to life.
well, in the
Yeah, I do
meantime,
have a So I do have a plan with the spices, and I'm just gonna do some videos.
Here
The
Around.
come the
puppies are
dogs.
coming in.
They're like, okay,
They're
Dad, you're
like,
done.
you're done.
You're done.
Exactly.
Okay, well, when you do your videos, let us know. We'll share them. And again, follow Chef Saw on Instagram. But also, if any of you who are listening end up getting the spice, please ask me in the meantime, and I'll be happy to help you with some recipes and ideas about what you can do with it if you don't already know. So. All right, Saw. Thank you so much. Everybody go to Chef Saw, go Saw on Instagram. Check all the show notes, either if you're on the podcast in the show notes or if you're here on YouTube below this video, you'll have all the links to the Duchess and to his Instagram. So you can get your hands on some of this amazing spice and give it as stocking stuffers for people who are foodies. Try it yourself. Make it a point to just be interested in working with food. If you have any kind of New Year's resolutions of getting in the kitchen more or eating healthier, that will be helped with something exciting and flavorful to make you want to do it. So thanks all for being on the show today.
Thank you, guys.